Let's talk about kind of what's been going on this week and what we think is going to come in the future, not just for housing, but the greater economy, things of that nature. I'm going to share my screen while we do this. First and foremost, this is interesting. As I kind of mentioned in past videos, the Fed was crushing the mortgage industry by buying mortgage-backed securities. And check this out on this chart. This is mortgage-backed securities. Higher is better, or at least typically means lower rates. Remember that volatility we talked about and how it was a couple of weeks ago? Well, check out this last week. It's actually been really nice. The Fed's been doing a good job. They were buying something to the tune of about $50 billion a day in mortgages here for about a week and a half until the industry asked them to stop. Then they bought about 20 billion here. So you got about 50 billion, you got about 20 billion, and now they're averaging, about 10 to 11 billion dollars. Like today, for example, on Monday, they're going to do about 11 billion from the hours of 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock, and they're going to kind of see, if they really need to. Just yesterday, in fact, they ended up not buying quite as much as they anticipated because they didn't think they needed to. So things are starting to behave semi-normal in terms of rates, things of that nature. What I find interesting is, despite the fact that we're all cooped up and we're still in the house and can't go anywhere, check out the S&P. It's been, as you've probably paid attention, or if you haven't, you should be. The stock market the last 2 weeks has been on fire, and it's just amazing because there hasn't been any real good news that has come out that's been significantly different here, outside of maybe the flattening of the curve, but that still doesn't solve the fact that we have unemployment going crazy right now. Check this out. A few things that I like to just point out. First of all, before we started this whole thing, this blue line, this was home purchases for the year for 2020. We were off to the best start that we've seen in a decade until all of a sudden COVID. So I thought that was interesting. Home appreciation, there's going to be a slight drop as they've seen already. Just I think the fact that people aren't selling homes and there's fear, and maybe you had a few folks losing their jobs. I think this is the anticipation of what they expect the home appreciation to do in the coming weeks. Unemployment, record unemployment again, more than 6 million people in 1 week filed for unemployment just this last week. So you guys can see just what's normal and then what the last 3 weeks have done for unemployment. That's no bueno. I will say the good news is, per this chart, which I thought was interesting, maybe we're starting to peak. Who knows? If you haven't lost your job by now, we'll see. But you'll see the number of Google searches for file for unemployment. It's been going down and down each week. So maybe it's reality. Maybe it's just a bunch of folks not knowing what to do before this all happened. Maybe it was just people curious. But I thought that chart was interesting. This is forbearance. Look, at the end of the day, on the forbearance piece, if you don't have to do forbearance, I wouldn't recommend it. And use it as a last resort. Again, last week's video, go watch it. Forbearance, I think, is as needed, meaning it better be the last resort. Because again, if they give you a 3-month break, that means at the end of 3 months, you're going to owe all that money back. This isn't a forgiveness. This is just hey, if you need to wait 90 days, as soon as things get back, started back up, you're going to owe all that money plus your normal mortgage payment. So I just caution that. Plus, we don't know what it does to your credit long term. Inflation numbers, kind of cool. We're not going to go over that. Shelter inflation, they expected about 3%. Fine. I thought this was interesting. The last couple of recessions, it took almost 5 years to recover the losses that we're seeing in the stock market. So you can see here, for example, peak to bottom drop. It took, who knows, to be determined on this one. But in years past, in 2008 and 2000, it took about 1.5 to 2.5 years for the stock market to actually find the bottom. Before then, it took 4+ years to actually recover. So we'll see where this one ends. Mortgage-backed securities, it just shows the amount the Fed had on their balance sheet. That was going down, and then this last couple of weeks spiked up. I found this interesting. Creamy. 55% of Americans prefer creamy over crunchy peanut butter. Who knew? I don't know if people are getting younger in the middle of the country, but this is the chart as far as the change in median age over the last 8 years. I don't know if the middle country is just getting younger with more people going there, or if the old people are dying. Either way, it's just, I thought, kind of interesting to see how the main part of the country is getting younger. This is the migration, how many people are going in and out of an area. So the net increase, the good news is, if you're watching this in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we've got pretty good growth, as we all know. And obviously, I think most of us would agree it's going to continue. Here's why I think we're going to have problems with Corona down the road. The number of people that have actually gone to work when they're feeling sick, close to 3 out of 4 of us will go to work when you feel sick. Maybe it'll change with Corona, but it's kind of staggering numbers, and this is based on age brackets. So it seems like the older you get, the more cocky you get, and you go to work thinking you can muscle through it. So I thought that was at least worth noting. Here's something. The post-mortgage meltdown, when Lehman Brothers went down, here's what the stock market did, and here's what we've done with Corona. It's pretty similar. Who knows if it stays this way? Time will tell. Just thought it was interesting. This is small businesses, small to medium-sized enterprises, as they call them. They're 44% of our GDP. So about half of the country's gross domestic product is based off these small businesses. They employ about 80% of our work staff, which I think is fascinating. And then apparently dogs make better pets than cats. Who knew? So that's it, guys. With all that said, if you guys have any questions, let me know. But appreciate you, as always, for watching. Hope you have a fantastic day, and call us should you need us. Have a great day. Bye.